really little, I started to look the proportion, but not unbelievable with copper plates and this flourishing, and then change maybe angles, big letters, and I tried. Yeah.
So hi,
Hi.
it's pleasure to finally meet you, and yeah, we're gonna be speaking about your journey in calligraphy, and that's pretty much it. Nothing fancy,
Okay.
nothing too special. Like we can start with how did you first became interested in calligraphy? What sparked the interest in it, and in general, how did everything started?
Well, my aunt was having a calligraphy in a design school, like in media art school, like something like that. And so she wrote us envelopes and also greeting cards, and I really loved it. So I was like dying to see these letters, and I was like 7 years old. So I was like, "Oh my God, please lend me your pen!" But of course she didn't, because in former Yugoslavia, like this. Communistic countries, it was so difficult to find anything like calligraphy pens and so on. So I tried then to cut my own pens, normal pens. I cut them and so on. But not only pens. I tried to write with chalks and everything that was flat. So that's why I can really do big stuff, because I think from the beginning I started already expanding this my pens by using different stuff for calligraphy. So this is how it started. And she wrote me the first alphabet, which was Gothic. But if I see now, it's not so beautiful Gothic. But anyway, it was a start. And then I started to learn by myself. And when I was 19, I started to write calligraphy books, like exercise books. And then I opened my calligraphy company, like a self company, a little one, like freelancing. And then I started to teach calligraphy all over Slovenia. So I had like in 4 years 2,000 students. So
Well,
it was,
so you
yeah.
start. So you said you were 19.
Yeah, I started with, well, when I was 19, I started to write calligraphy books and programs and stuff that I would teach like this. But I started at 21 freelancing. So it's, yeah, more than 20 years now,
Okay,
22.
but you mentioned it was Gothic, but was this also the first script that you, I don't know, I don't think we ever master any script. Like, I think there is always a place for improvement, but was the Gothic the first script that you felt comfortable with?
Yes, yeah, Gothic was the first script, really. And when kids come, kids come to my class, for example, I always show Gothic because it's the easiest thing, because I show them how they really just built the letters brick by brick. So it's like, like a house of Lego house, for example. So it's, yeah, quite easy. But if you want to go serious, you've got to first, of course, learn Roman capitals and well, proportion, I mean. And this is what I was looking when I was really little. I started to look the proportion, but not of course practicing them. I started practicing capitals, really, Roman capitals with a brush, now that I am comfortable with a brush. But before, I was just watching, observing all these years. Yeah.
Okay, and by the age of 21, how many scripts were you able to do?
Six, I think. Yeah, six. Yeah, six scripts. These were my first scripts that I started to teach with. So these were italic. I started with italic. I thought that all other scripts are too easy. So
Okay.
yeah, well, italic, and then Antel, Carolinian, copperplate, Gothic textura, and factura. So six scripts I was writing then. But after 4 years, I knew that I'm not that good. Well, if I'm looking back now, I was quite okay already, but I knew that something is missing. Really, something is really, yeah. And I started to search the internet, because the internet already, a little bit developed. And I found National Diploma in Calligraphy in England, in London. and I started to do diploma in calligraphy. So I started the second level, intermediate level. This society, if you know, it is the Calligraphy, Lettering Art Society, and they held the national diploma in calligraphy. And so I went through this program. I should have a tutor, but I said, oh, I can try it by myself. So I did by myself the intermediate level, and and then with distinction. So I got really high grades, and then for the advanced one, I already then met Dennis Brown, and who helped me a little bit with with some tips and stuff like that. So I really then developed in just a few years so much, because I had a good, well, not a good, but a huge foundation of the scripts and everything. I just missed some details, really. So yeah.
Like back then, some like so almost 20 years ago or whatever, like the internet was not what it's now. So can you mention some people that influenced you, that you were inspired by, and how did you actually find them? Because obviously the internet was not.
Yes, it was a public library, and the books that we had, I had luck that we had quite a good books, so good quality books, because otherwise you don't know really, as a beginner, you don't know, if you don't have a good eye already, you don't know really what is the quality of the letters, like something else, like pottery. You don't know, if you're not a master, you don't know what is the difference between a master and a student. So I luckily I had in my in our public library good books, and these were by Mary Noble and Jane Mehigan. I don't know if you know these two authors. They make books quite a lot together. They are very quality. They have very quality books for beginners, and also, well, for advanced. But I think for the beginners, really just just good to start with. And which was the best part, which was a good story, was that I started to learn this when I was, I don't know, 16, by these books by Mary Noble and Jen Mehigan. But when I was teaching, like just maybe 10 years after that in England, they were both in my class. So I was like, oh
Okay.
my God, what? So I was like shaking. I said, oh my God, you were my first teachers through the books. So yeah, it was so good, really so good. I think it was maybe 10 years after that I was teaching in England. Dumb.
Obviously, you started very young. I'm curious, at what point in your life you knew that this is what you want to do for the rest of your life?
I think 16, 17, yeah, something like that. Because well, I was dancing also a lot of years, and I was like deciding which classes should I organize. So dance classes or calligraphy classes. And then I started with calligraphy. But because dancing is not as rare as calligraphy. So calligraphy was very exotic, and nobody really knew calligraphy. So I said, okay, this is a niche, so it's much better to start with calligraphy. Of course, it shows on the body. If I was dancing, I would be more, more, how do you say, my body wouldn't hurt so much. So my back hurts, my neck and everything. As a calligrapher, you have to sit a lot, and not only in calligraphy. I'm also doing a lot of computer work, so also Photoshop and commercial. I do everything by myself, and also my website and so on. So it's a lot of sitting. So yeah.
I know that feeling. Pretty
Yeah.
much the same here.
So in one point, when I said, "Oh, I could mix these two, right?" And at one point, I made when I was invited to San Francisco calligraphy. It was a big calligraphy conference in San Francisco, and they asked me to do a performance, and I said, "Okay." And then I was doing it 1 year, the performance. So I was singing. I went to the studio, made all the songs. So these were songs like well-known songs, but with changed text. And then I was dancing also a little bit, contemporary. But I was really training Latin American dances and ballroom. But yeah, so I was dancing stand-up comedy. so speaking the first time.
Okay.
That was the first time for me speaking on the stage, and singing on the stage the first time also. But it was not live; it was recorded, so I couldn't do that live. I was, you know, that was really first time. So the speaking I was doing lively, and then of course calligraphy. The camera was over, and I was making calligraphy on stage. So it was 1 hour performance and plus videos. So videos was it was a part of performance. So this some of these videos are in YouTube, but not some. I think all of these videos that are part of this performance are in YouTube. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's funny that you start talking about the dancing because I kind of have forgotten about it, but I remember I've seen, I don't know, maybe written on your Instagram or somewhere. I don't know. I just have this. I remember it that you said or you have written that calligraphy is like dancing. So
It
can
is.
you can you tell me? Can you speak a bit more about this? Like, how do you mix dancing and calligraphy, and how do you exactly do calligraphy that is like dance? I don't even know how
Similar.
to say.
Yeah. I know what you mean. So calligraphy and dance is very connected also with martial arts, for example, in this Asian cultures, for example. But also our Latin calligraphy and our dance is also connected with rhythm and movement and so on. So all this. Well, when I'm writing very big, of course, when you're writing big, then you have to use all your body, and then you can see it. So the energy, how you make the move, everything it has the connection. So you really can feel it when you do the stroke. It's the same thing like the dance stroke. So you pull your arm as you would dance. So but of course when you're doing very small you don't feel like it like this, but it is the rhythm. The most common things are really the rhythm and the movement, and of course uh, of course how when you're writing you're also dancing with a brush even more than with a pen, but because it's lighter, right? Because with the lighter touch you go more spontaneously, more like this, so with the expression calligraphy, so if you don't even use the letter forms, you can even more see that it's dancing. So I think really the calligraphy is really dancing, really.
Does this happen only when you're writing big, like when you write on a wall or something? Because like now that I listen, it makes sense, but I cannot imagine like if I have to write small,
Uh-huh.
like with
Yeah.
this pen on the paper, like how exactly does
Uh-huh.
this connection
Okay.
happen?
So when I'm like in front of the class, for example, when I'm showing it, and I said 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, up and down and up and forward. So it's the same. It's the same. So when you are writing, it's quite the same thing. So you're writing the strokes like it would be the music. So like the rhythm. So it's like it's really like dancing. So it's a dance moves. So the stroke is also a dance move. So each stroke, also if you're making really small, like suck, 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 suck. You
Okay.
see? This is like, suck, suck,
But
suck, suck.
some scripts are written in different rhythms. So
Yes.
is there a script that is easier to be written in the rhythm of the music or the dance or
Yeah, well, when I'm writing, I don't have music, but of course, on the stage, I have to have it. And it's difficult because I have to concentrate on my brush, and the music goes in different rhythm, which is crazy, which is like singing without the right music.
okay?
So you would sing, but the music is different. So this is very difficult, yeah, on the stage, really. The Gothic, for example. So dun, dun, drun, drun, dun, dun. So this is like it's like the passo doble, for example, and Italic is like it's like salsa. So something like that. So this is how I see the scripts. So, or for example, the copper plate. Trun, dun, 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 you know. So it's like waltz or something. So
Huh, this is so cool.
Yeah.
In this case, are there tools that are better for this kind of writing and easier, or and are there such that are more difficult? And which are those?
Yeah, well, I was following Dennis Brown a lot of years, right? And because he was my idol, and I said, oh my God, this is my calligraphy. So it was like, his strokes, really dancing strokes, really energetic, and this movement, I really loved it. But but he was using automatic pens, so automatic pens are hard, this hard, stiff, and so on. So I didn't really feel like my tool. So when I met Carl Roars, once I went to his class, and I had my brush with me, and he said, yeah, but try this one. And he had a very, very good brush, Winsor Newton 995 series. Now he doesn't use this brush anymore, but something different. But I tried it and I said, oh, this is me, this is my brush. And I immediately could write on the edges. So for example, you can feel calligraphy also writing with a small brush when you're going to the edges of the stroke. So when you're going to on the edges, for example, I don't have here the good ones, but for example, when you're going on the edges of the nibs, then you can really feel that you're really dancing. It's not going flat all the time on the paper, but dancing all the time. So all the strokes goes on one way or the other. So and then this is really my tool. So I said, oh, this is me. And so from then on, I really started to explore the brush, and I tried to write with all the scripts with this brush. And when I'm writing with a pen, I really suffer now because hand hurts, here hurts, all other tools hurt my arm. But the brush is really comfortable. I can write like 10 hours in with the brush. Yeah.
Okay. Is there any specific way you hold the brush? Because 2 days ago I had a podcast with Tom Kemp,
Oh,
and
okay.
he showed me something that I didn't even know. Like, let's say this is, I don't have a brush around me,
Okay.
but
Yeah, I hold it like this.
he said something like this,
No.
and then because you can do this,
Yeah, but I can do it also here.
I don't know. So there is no like a weird way that you hold the brush.
No, everyone have a different approach how they hold it, but also with like till this, for example, this is the biggest that I can have my hand really on the ground. I keep it very, very close to the hair, so very
Mm-hmm.
close, like this, and then I have my hand very close to where I write, so I can really write with all of my hands. So on this, I slide, and I can really write it all the time. And I have a very good, how do you say?
Control.
Uh, Now the distance is all the time the same. So
Okay.
the distance from the paper is all the time the same. So I don't have this. If you have it like that, you can't have all the time the same distance from the paper, which means that you are pressing a little bit more or a little bit too little or a bit too much. So this one, if you're holding it all the time like this, then you have all the time the same pressure on the paper, the same
I see.
distance, which is great because you get the same all the time, the same effect. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, since we are speaking about brushes, can you tell me some brushes that are better for calligraphy? And actually, what makes a flat
Mhm.
brush good one for calligraphy? Because I myself, like, I've bought couple of brushes, and right now I have a few which I'm happy with, but still I've seen friends from the crew which have super nice brushes that when they're with ink, the chisel just stays like flat and everything. But there's
That's
also
great.
sometimes those brushes which they don't give me this.
That's the good
Yeah.
thing. Well, what is with my brushes is that I don't need so good brushes. Well, I have cheap ones, but they work very, very good. So Winsor and Newton are very, very good. And also, if you are using the liquid ink, they would stay thin, right? Thin at the top. But you have to, uh, how do you say, you have to correct them with the soap and I don't know how to say, like John Stevens, he's using liquid ink with these brushes. But for me, it's so much easier because I use the thick color. So thick color is working like a glue. So it glues this hair together like
Yeah.
this. So when you're taking the color from the side of the palette, so for example like this, so when you're taking it like from here, so it's the palette must be straight, and then it stays together. The hair stays together, and so I take all the time for all strokes. I always take more color, so that helps the brush, the hairs to be together always. So always thin at the top. Yeah.
So are you using gouache or something else?
Gouache, only gouache. Well, on the walls, I'm using also acrylic paints, but they damage a little bit the brushes. So, but the same brushes I used for the walls or for the paper, I the same thing.
Why?
Well, the big
What?
ones, no, the big ones are a little bit different. So for the small calligraphy up till this dimension, this is I think 1 inch, so 3/4 inch, Winsor and Newton. But it's difficult for us to get this into Europe. So, for example, I used this now quite a lot of years. I used Manet Galaxy, Manet Galaxy 792 Manet Galaxy, but they stopped producing them. And Gerstecker, so the German shop with art supply, supplies, they bought them, and it's I Love Art 792. So you can still get them, but you can see that they don't check the quality. So some brushes are a little bit, not really good. So then you can also just cut a little bit here, a little bit there, or also here a little bit, just one line a little bit. So when the brush is already old, you can a little bit, or just tired, you just can cut this a little bit away, so that you get rid of the hair that they're like this open. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So these are for small brushes. And yeah, one student from China she said this one also, but I didn't try them yet on the edges. But I think it's a little bit too soft, this one. For me, the edges must have enough, you see, a little bit more stiff,
Yes.
this one. Otherwise, I can't go on the edges of the brush, because I'm really writing also with the edge of the brush, which is hard, very hard. Okay, and these ones are to this dimension, so 10 centimeters, and these are Da Vinci Fit for hobbying with these green handles. These are really best of the best brushes, really. They're quite cheap, but really working so well. And they're also on the walls. They're working also on the walls, yeah. Well, some people like this wall brushes. You've got quite a lot, but I like them to be more soft. So for the beginners, for the walls, I think they like a little bit smaller, with a little bit shorter hair. But for me, this is really just working so good. So
Okay, you said acrylic paint messes up the brushes.
a
Why is
little
this?
bit,
Because
yes. I don't know.
last week I was doing a wall with acrylic ink. I don't know if it's a paint
Okay.
or I think it's
Okay.
ink. But yeah, I was using my brush and I was using acrylic. So does this mean that my brushes are gonna be damaged now?
No, I still work with them then on the paper, but you have to wash them very good, very good out. So with soap, and very immediately. So if you're working on the wall, and if you're working on the wall, and then and then you need another brush with acrylics, and then another brush, you have to keep this one with some plastic wrap or something. Otherwise, when I'm working in summer days, it's so hard to keep the brushes good, and they're all damaged around. So I have here the brushes. So you can see that, for example, oh, here. So you see, and this
Yeah.
damaged quite a lot, but I can't do anything about that because when it's very hot outside you, it's they damage a little bit here, but they're still good here. But this I like them only on very rough surfaces. Otherwise, these are really just great. These are so good. This green handles, like I said before. So this
Yeah.
is really nice, nice brushes. So yeah, with the soap. And if you're using more brushes, it's good to wrap them in the plastic so that they don't dry. And then you have to put the soap and like this a lot of time, and hold them like this and towards your hands, and then turn. And then this will go, everything from here would go out. So
Huh.
from here, if it's something in here, will go out. So this is really a good technique. So just hold all the hair and then move a little bit like in a circle.
Okay.
This
Good
is
to
my
know.
technique. So
Good to know. Once we
Mhm.
finish the podcast, I'll check my brushes if they're still alive.
No.
Because they've been sitting in my backpack since then.
Oh no,
Well, I
poor
mean,
guy.
well, they're not that expensive. I mean, they're good brushes, but I mean, if they're damaged, it's not gonna be a big loss.
Yeah, also this are around €5 or something. Yeah, but yeah.
Okay.
So it's better to keep brushes for walls and brushes for paper separately. So yeah,
Yeah. Huh.
yeah, it's better. So if, for example, they are not so expensive, so I say, okay, this I will use only for the walls, and I put it where I have the brushes for the walls.
Yeah, but I guess you have much more brushes than I have. I have around 10 brushes. Probably the rest is just dip pens, automatic pens, ruling
Okay,
pens, pilot
good,
parallel
good.
pens, and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's okay.
I want to jump a bit back while you were learning calligraphy. What were the struggles you were facing? I mean, you said everything was pretty easy, but did you have any struggles learning or?
It was not easy. It was so hard. It was so hard. Now it's easy because when I was writing calligraphy with these tools that I made, it's make me easy now. So make for me it's now easy to make big letters. But then it was so hard. I was like, oh my God, why can't I do this? And it was so difficult, really so difficult, but I loved it so much. And why it was so difficult, I see that now, because some people who come to my classes are very precise and they do so good letters, but why they are not Loredana Zega or somebody else? Because they don't have a passion. So you're not born with I don't know, a talent. Okay, some people are really precise, blah blah, but what counts, it's only the passion, nothing else. So not only the passion, that you have the will, you have the will that you want to practice. If you don't have the passion, you can't practice because you don't like it. So that's it. So I'm really not precise, and it was so difficult for me because I wasn't precise. So calligraphy came to my life just to become precise. So now I don't have to be precise anymore because I can do it. And what
Okay.
I'm doing now, I can do it very quickly, but I'm very precise. So this is really crazy. So many years building this precise, and then you see that you don't need it anymore after 10 years. Yeah.
I think in the last few episodes we come to this point that, and I realized it about myself. Before I was trying to make these perfect strokes, perfect letters, and I don't even consider myself a good calligrapher, but what I mean is now I don't care so much if the stroke is not perfect and oh this perfect, like I don't think calligraphy is about perfection at all.
Yes, these days everybody would like to make calligraphy very gestural and everything else, but it's before you come to this stage, I think the training, the basic training of many scripts is really necessary to make a very good and good work. Like how do you say, expressive and like Yves Term or somebody else, they don't start like this, you know, they didn't
Yeah.
start like this. This is the basic, and then you can do, from that you can do something. But or even worse, this is really difficult to go from the very perfect stroke to very energetic and very expressive strokes and so on, or Brodinoischwand. So these are all people who are really very good in basics. So if you have, like, you know, people, like very beginner people in a class like this, you could see who have a little bit, not a little bit, who have a lot of experience with calligraphy, or who just started, and I don't know, he can't do some I don't know, very beautiful, well, beautiful expressive strokes without a good calligraphy foundation. It is possible, of course, but yeah, I don't know. For example, Jean Larcher was always arguing about that, and was always angry. Ah, this is not calligraphy anymore. This is dying, and so on. And it's really difficult. So I'm one of the rare calligraphers that I'm still using very good letter forms in my artworks. So many people just went out of this good letter forms, but just to make the to make abstract calligraphy and not good strokes and so on, but deliberately. But I didn't want to, so because I liked to keep calligraphy in my artworks, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's difficult. It's really a thin line, and when you make just calligraphy, it's not considered as art. So that's why people want to make something out of calligraphy to consider it as art, because the strokes are like this, and then, but this is not calligraphy anymore. So, you know, so if it's not even at least one beautiful and a perfect stroke in this artwork like this, then it's not calligraphy, it's painting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you're right.
I don't know.
No, yeah, it sounds reasonable. Like I agree with you, but what while we were learning it, what was the easiest and what was the hardest script for you
Great.
to learn?
Yeah, when I was when I started to learn italic, I started with the letter A because I didn't know. So I didn't know the groups and the basic elements, and so, oh my god. So I was just now doing some corrections for the workbook that, because I'm just teaching next week in Belgium, and and I was like smiling just because of that, because now I know that. But and then, okay, I started with the A and then with the B and so on. So after 1 month training, I said, oh, these are so good. And then I tried to make one word after a month, not before. And I cried. I cried. It was so ugly. It was so ugly. So, you know, but I didn't see that, you know, I didn't see the, you know, proportion, blah blah blah. So it was like, also in this calligraphy books, it writes only the you know, A B C da, da, da. It was not in the groups, so I didn't really know. So I didn't really know how to learn. So yeah, it was difficult. So the easiest thing, easiest script, I think, still is Gothic. And the worst, well, I know now italic from upside and mirror and everything, so I can do italic in whatever way possible, also with the broom or everything, like, you know. But it was very hard to learn. Also very hard to learn was also copperplate, because I'm not exact. So the handwriting, it's the most connected to the handwriting, copperplate.
Mm-hmm.
And but the most difficult that I learned was Roman capitals. Were the Roman capitals. That was the biggest challenge in my life. Yeah. So, and I started just few years ago, like, I don't know, 5 6 years ago, and I was training, like, because I had time then, because when I was traveling I could have some time, so I was really training like from 8 hours a day, like, also more. So
Okay.
yeah, also sitting in a coffee shop, and I was really training Roman capitals in a coffee shop. So
Yeah. Well, I guess the Romans will win the title for the hardest script because way too many people said Roman capital is the hardest.
yeah, Yeah, it is because it's very difficult to make a perfect stroke, and this has to be a perfect stroke, right? So you make tack and then the exact circle, not a little bit more, a little bit less. In Gothic, you can do a little bit this and that, and it will be still wow, beautiful. So yeah, Roman capitals were really a big challenge also for me. But I didn't start them before I started my with the brush. So when I met the brush, I I could start then with the Roman capitals, and then of course I was the first one who made the Roman capitals differently than other people. I was the first one who had the balls to make different, because everybody was following John Stevens, of course, Father Cottage before, and so on. But I made it with a dry brush, and when I posted, all these big names said, "Wow, that's excellent!" And so John Stevens, Julian Waters, Dennis Brown, and Karl Rohrs. All the four was like, "Yeah, bro, there's Dana. See if it's not Photoshop." I so yeah.
How many workshops have you attended, and which of those was the most important for you?
I attended only four workshops, but I
Okay.
wanted to do more. So if I would be rich, I would go only on workshops. I wouldn't teach, but well, I like teaching. Maybe I would teach time to time, but otherwise I would be only a student all my life. So I really envy people when they're in my class all weekend just having fun with brush. So I would sit there with them and have fun. So this is so I was really just in few classes. Yeah. So Dennis Brown twice. So once in England, and the second time he came to Slovenia teaching because I uh, organized it. Oh no, I was also with Julian Waters in Venice,
Wow.
but he had like 25 people. It's very close to us. Venice, it's only 1 hour away. So, but it was too many people, and it was around Gothic, so I didn't learn really a lot there. And then Karl Rohrs and Karl Rohrs in Germany, it was when I met the pen, the brush, and Laurent Flugo. Laurent Flugo, I also invited him to Slovenia. So I was so really so inspired by his works, the collage work, and so on. So it's so good, really. And Stefan Alfonsi, his cousin or something. So this French calligraphers, some French calligraphers are really just outstanding, really. David Lozac and Julien Chazal, Benoit Furet, and so on. It's yeah, quite a big world that we don't know because it's totally a different world. So when I'm teaching now in Belgium, for example, they have French part and uh, normal part, Dutch part, yeah, Dutch and then French a little bit on the south. So on the south, I'm teaching in French, and they don't know calligraphers. English calligraphers, and these English calligraphers, well, Dutch calligraphers, they don't know any of French calligraphers. So it's totally two societies, different societies. So I'm lucky that I speak also, yeah, French, Italian, and English, so I can really teach in these languages, and I have a little bit more than uh, you know audience.
Okay. So how many languages do you speak?
Four, four
Wow.
plus mine. Yeah, so it's English, Italian, and French, and then also Serbo-Croatian. Yeah, and Slovenian, of course, it's mine. So five.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. At what point in your life you started teaching, and was it because you felt ready to teach, or people started asking you to teach them?
I started to teach calligraphy in Slovenia just to start my first work, really. So I didn't, I was like 2 times in a real job, like not real, really, waitress a little bit, 2 months. And then I was like in one, not shop, one organization. but 2 months, like, and so on. So it's not really not a lot of time that I was doing other work. So I started to do calligraphy just to start my business, really. So to
Mm-hmm.
survive, to start life. And then I was teaching really a lot, a lot. And This a lot of teaching also trained me as a teacher, and also I think I really knew how to explain it, because I was when I was like training when I was little, like all these years, I could really explain it very well. So but not as much as now, of course, even more now, but already at that time I knew that I can explain it very well. And um, and then after, when I made the the national diploma, then in 2020 I first taught in, or 2013 I first taught after Karl Roars. Next year I was started to teach in Germany, and then from Germany, San Francisco, and all the world. Then, yeah, so it was like, yeah, nice.
What were you teaching in the beginning, and are those the same things that you teach today, or today you're teaching different classes?
Yeah, well, from the beginning, I said the 6 scripts. I started really with Italic and Gothic, and then I added this 4 that I mentioned before in Slovenia, and then I added even more. So it's 4 Gothic now. So it's Batarda, Rotunda, Textura, and Fraktura. So 4 Gothics, and what else? Rustic, but with a brush, only brush. Roman capitals also. What else? And then, of course, my scripts. When I was practicing Roman capitals, I said, "Oh, I need a break," and then I was starting to do the flame script. I don't know if you saw. Well, a lot of things is really made in my flame script when I'm publishing it. So
Isn't this behind you those kind of flame?
no, this is a fracture by dry brush fracture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Put it a little
Actually,
bit, a little bit closer.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
Fracture, yeah,
Wow.
fracture.
Wow.
So yeah,
Damn.
this is dry brush. So I love it, really. I love
Yeah, I
I love
love
it.
it too, because I started because of fracture. And actually, it's fun
Mhm.
fact. One of the first things I remember when I discovered you years ago was exactly this dry brush effect. I loved it, and I'm still loving it.
Thank you, thank you. Well, when you first contacted me, I was really low in my life, so it was really difficult. I didn't have the laptop. I was building the house, and I was very depressed. So I remember that time. And what is really funny in this moment now, that I think of one thing and it happens. So I just thought of this interview, and I said, "Oh my God!" Well, I said no at that time because I really couldn't. So I didn't have the computer even, and also didn't work online. So I started online with Corona, right? So
Mhm.
that was like, yeah, 3 years ago, right? So I think you invited me to do that, and I really couldn't. So just a few days, just a day before you wrote me, I said, "Oh, that's pity, but why I didn't say yes?" And then you wrote me, so many things is really happening just like this.
I know what you mean. I experience kind of the same things sometimes.
Yeah, so I think things are changing now in this. It's a period for that, they say.
Yeah. Okay, I want to ask, yeah, what's your favorite class to teach and why?
So I really like to teach this flame script, my script, because you can really do a lot of things. So with it, so texturing, layering. Because the brush is very transparent, so you can make one letter and then on top another, and it looks like all 3D and so on. So you can do the circles. Oh yes, this one. This is the flame one. This is one of the artworks that I have now in Bartel House in Petzenbach. And we're just going to grab this artworks on the way to Belgium. So they will be lucky students this all trip, because they will see all the originals from, not all, some are sold, some originals from the exhibition. Yeah, so that's great. So yeah, the best because I can teach like almost everything. So texture, layering, circles, black and white. Then also, of course, color combination, composition, everything. Really, just everything with the script. Also with Gothic, for example, or Gothic capitals, or fractal capitals, for example, are also very beautiful. Like to learn these things, but I don't know, flame. I love flame because it's really beautiful. Some things are really just unbelievable. You can't do that with any other tool. That's why I love it so much. So yeah.
So this flame script is your own script. You have developed it.
Yeah.
And how does this happen? Like how much time it takes to develop your own script?
Yeah, when I was teaching calligraphy from the beginning, everybody was asking like, but did you do some new scripts? Is something yours and so on? And it's so difficult because so many things already exist, right? And I was sitting in this coffee shop that I told you that I was practicing. There, I made all alphabet of the flames, and, and when I posted it, it was the first picture that in 1 hour hit the 1,400 likes. So I was like,
Okay.
because it was really something new, like regarding the script. So it's really from the Carl Rohr's class, but he makes a little bit, not a flame, but it was a combination between something from his class. It was a bounce stroke, but not with a brush, but he showed it with a normal pen. And I said, oh, I could try that with a brush and so on. So something like that. And also when he was teaching italic, it was like, okay, we go like this down and then from here up and down. And I said, can you do it like this? And he said, oh, wow, if you're that good, yes, you can do it. And so it was like, yeah, immediately my script. So organizers saw it and then they invited me to teach that. So because of this branch, I was really, I am really teaching all around the world just because of this technique and the brush. So because all these other scripts people already do, for example, but the brush and it's really special. Yeah.
Is there one thing that you wish you knew when you started calligraphy?
Yeah, that all scripts are the same. Well, they have the same code, which is UNN. So if you know the UNN, you can do everything. So UN is the same as A and B. So A is like this, and if you turn the paper, is vice versa. So almost all the scripts, of course not the capitals, which are, for example, ancient, rustic, and Roman caps, but all other small caps. If you turn around, these letters are the same, U and N, right? U
Okay.
and N.
Yeah.
So if you turn them around, and everything in between are all other letters. So if you know that this code and how it's written, you know all the letters.
Okay.
Almost.
Isn't Neuland also a capital script?
Yes, yeah, also Neuland. Oh, also Neuland I did, yeah. That
Yeah.
is the last script. That's the last script that I made. Yeah, so that is also I'm teaching now in Belgium. Yeah, so four scripts with the brush. So I'm teaching with the brush. Yeah.
How do you see the world of calligraphy today? What do you think are the good sides of it, and what is not okay with how is calligraphy going, in your opinion?
I think it's normal with the internet. It spread so much that many people write calligraphy, maybe not even good and so on, but they make a lot of things for free, which is very difficult then for us professional, because then the value of the work is going down. But you have to find your own thing, your own niche. So, but not only niche really, because for example, I do really a lot of things. I do the calligraphic lamps. I do the family trees. I do the, I don't know, invitations, which I don't like so much because it's small. just today I have to do something small, and I'm procrastinating, so I don't want to really, but I have to. So I say to my clients, if I can do that on a bigger paper, I will charge you less. So this is how I do it. Yeah. So yeah. So what else? What I do is it's designing books. For example, I got 3 books last year. So designing with Photoshop and maybe titles in calligraphy, and then in InDesign, I put all the book together and so on. So it's so many things that you can do. It's not like if I say, oh, I'm making the walls, of course, and so on. So if you're saying, oh, I'm a calligrapher and I will do only the wedding invitation, you can't. Only if you live in America in a place that there are a million weddings, but here you can't live just with that. So not possible.
What? Is this the reason in America are so many invitations written?
I think, yeah, I think it's much more in America. Here is not so many weddings. In Slovenia, there are only 2 million people, so not a lot of weddings.
Okay.
and also people don't want to marry. So
Yeah,
well,
that's the
men
thing.
don't want to marry. Also, it's also the same thing in Bulgaria. The
I don't
same thing.
know.
You
Like,
don't know.
I mean, most of the time I sit here in this room working, but I think when I was younger, there were more weddings. I cannot be sure and say for
Yeah, it
100%.
was. Yeah, there was, of course.
Huh.
But in Slovenia and also maybe this more eastern countries, I think people like to do everything by themselves, which is great, you know. So
Mhm.
people like to do the invitation and then decorating and maybe flowers, also photos. Well, photos, you know. But you know, people like to do that, and why not? It's more personal if you do it by yourself.
Can you share with me some books that you used during your journey that helped you a lot and that might help other people to use in their journeys?
So yeah, these 2 authors that I mentioned are Mary Noble and Jen Mehigan, but I don't know the title. This one I love really. This is David Harris. I met him also at that time when I met these 2 ladies. He was teaching the capitals, and he has a really good examples. But also here you can see that the letters are not in the groups, which is really difficult for people to learn because they don't know really these connections, so that's why you have to go to the class. That's the point also.
You
You can
mentioned
show it.
you mentioned a few times the groups. Does this mean it's really so important to practice letters in groups?
Yes, of course, because if you start with A, then it's very difficult. A is usually the worst and the most difficult letter in all the alphabet, in every alphabet, in almost every alphabet.
Okay. In this case, oh, here I have a big brush as well.
Oh, yeah, these ones. I mean, they like more these ones, yeah. But for me, it's a little too short. I can't go really on the edges. So yeah.
In this case, are there any books that show the letters in groups, or you don't
No,
know?
I don't think so. No, this is why it's more. I don't think so. No, maybe this. Yeah. No. Yeah. No. It's just A and B. Yeah. Most of the books, no, just because people want. Well, teachers, we want people to come to the. Yes, Stan Knight has groups, I think. Stan Knight, but he has like historical scripts. I'm not sure. Yeah, the Roman caps he put into the groups, of course. Yeah. So well, also here are in the groups. I think the capitals are also here in the groups. Where are these? I don't know. No, I don't find so quickly. So I also, when I was little, I also tried this one. I
Mhm.
also tried this one, also by David Harris, and I said, "Oh, the brush is not for me. This is not mine." But that was really, really long time ago. And so this is one of the best calligraphy books. But now I also like, not now, but my Bibles are Jean Larcher book, very big book, Jean Larcher. Then Claude Mediavilla and
Oh.
Claude Mediavilla, also very good book. They were competitors, Jean and Claude, always like. So now have Jean. Well, he passed away, but he has like a Jean Larcher, like this book, you know. And of course, John Stevens has a book, Scribe. And who else? Julien Chazal also have nice examples in the books. Yeah, this like this four, something like that.
This, to be honest, this Jean Lachey, or I don't know how to pronounce. I think this is the first time I hear this name.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, he died a few years ago, before Hermann Zapf also, and he invented or designed more than 30 fonts, and he was perfect in copperplate.
Okay.
And he was a very big man in all senses.
I see.
So this is his book.
What?
And it's a Bible for ideas. So it's a Bible for the ideas. So you've got million different scripts. So it's just unbelievable. So from this ruling pens, this one is very beautiful. So if you want to, to have some, wow, this one is civilité, like something like that. If you want to have idea what, for example, what to work on, and it's like 40 pages like that. So if you want, also this, everything.
Wow.
Really.
This is a huge book.
Yes, it's 600 pages, 600, and it's a lifetime work, his lifetime work. And when he published it, he died. So yeah, but very well. He was young. He is around 70 years old. And yeah, I wanted to just, yeah, he was just unbelievable with copperplate and this flourishing.
Wow.
So, and I knew him from the books before, and we met in a conference in Germany, and when we were talking like with the organizer, this few people that were on conference, so like 7 people around, Ewan Clayton, and then he was invited and so on. But I never saw that he was replying. So when I came, he was there, and I was like, oh my God, John Larcher, I thought he will not come. And he was sitting just beside me. And I was like, oh my God, I will not be able to create anything. Loredana, you will see, we will do, I will do just one very big work. And he made million works, not only one. And he started then, I started to joke with him. And he started to melt down, and he was really, yeah, very nice. Yeah. So, but with the organizers, he could be really pain in the ass. So,
yeah.
So the organizers were saying, "Oh, Loredana, thank you. What you're doing with Jean."
Wow.
He was really good.
You
But I don't find.
You think this book is still available to be purchased online or
It's
something?
possible. I don't know. It's possible. Yeah, it's possible. But this is really so many ideas. Really, so many ideas. And one also so good for the ideas, but I don't know if there is a book. Is one artist from San Francisco. I just thought of him because of the ideas. It's Alan Blackman. Mm-hmm. Alan Blackman, I think. And he's gay, like in everything pink, older man, very yeah, like very special. You don't really know. And he made millions of different envelopes, and on each envelope he made a different script. So his own script. So yeah, Alan Blackman. I think he's Alan Blackman. Yeah. So very special. Yeah, special guy.
Okay. You said you developed your own script. Now you say somebody else in his own scripts. I'm pretty interested, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people that are listening. Can you tell, or do you know some advices or tips how one can develop their own scripts? Of course, I guess you have to have a lot of, I don't know, you have to have a lot of experience with traditional scripts and stuff like this, but are there any tips that can be given on developing your own scripts?
Oh my God. No. Well, maybe like that. Like, okay, but but for example, I showed you this book now, and if you're going through all of these scripts, you say, "Oh my God, I can't imagine anything different, anything new." So
Hmm.
it's really difficult to make a new script. Really a difficult thing because it's so many things that it's everything already known. But okay, so one teacher says like that, said like that, for example. So you take one script and then I like that really. So take one script and then change maybe angles, pen angle. So try angle at 90, for example, 90 degrees and so on. So this is how you can change the script, but really try to, yeah. So I have another script that I was, but I don't know if I have it here. It's possible I have it. It was idea from my son. I still don't, I still didn't do it. No, I don't find it, but I found the ones of Laurent Flugo
Wow.
plus. Yeah, so I wanted to start to make a tattoos. So me doing the tattoos when I was learning the scripts. Yeah, so these are the scripts from his class. It's so beautiful, just
What?
amazing. Yeah, really unbelievable. So I was really inspired by his script. But that one I wanted to. Oh yeah, here it is. My son, when he was really little, I gave him a brush or a pen, um, and he made one stroke like me because he was imitating me, and that was the first one here. And I still don't teach them, so I will teach them soon. So this is one script, for example, one new script, one new idea. So this one he did really, but not this one, but it was like big with the brush. So yeah, and I developed then this. So for example, you take one script and you add maybe, for example, this one I added. For example, this could be like capitals, and I
Hmm.
added the points, the diamonds, for example,
The
and so on.
squares.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, like the tips that you shared make sense. I've also like discussed some of the stuff with Paul Antonio, and I spoke with Daniel Reeves. Daniel Reeve, I guess you know him.
That who that?
Daniel Reeve,
No. I don't know. I don't know. Okay.
the calligrapher behind Lord of the Rings.
Wow. Okay.
So he basically developed very different scripts for each of the characters in the movie. So
Wow.
and he was speaking about it, and I'm really excited. I really want to find someone who can teach people how to develop their own scripts. But I
This is a good idea for the workshop. Thank you.
yeah, right.
I could do it. I could do it.
Oh,
Great. Okay.
awesome. How do you see calligraphy evolving in the future?
Hmm. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, to be
I don't
honest,
know.
few years like calligraphy masters, it's almost 10 years now. When I was starting, I thought calligraphy it's a dying art craft, but obviously it gets more and more popular, which is
Yeah.
funny because technology is taking over the
Crazy.
world.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm just curious how people see calligraphy going in the future. But
Yeah, I think in the future, less and less knowledge. I think it will be less knowledge of the formal calligraphy, which is bad because people don't want to practice. They want everything instant. But on the other hand, it's possible that they will learn. So some people will go into learning basics and then develop into wow. But some people are just making gesture and so on. So calligraphy is going degrading, is degrading back, not back really, but evolving into an art form instead of really calligraphy as font, right? Because we made fonts like in medieval times, right? So this is when you type the letter A, yeah, it was, you know,
yeah.
designed by calligraphers in the past. But now all these letters and are developing more in the artistic way, which is okay also. But I don't know, the letter forms. People don't like to practice. They like to just, have fun. But if you want to have fun, you have to have a big foundation. It's like, it's the same like with the dance. You see, you want the connection with dance. So you have, so for example, you go to experimental dancing without any knowledge. It's not possible. You can't do jazz without, and in the music, you can't do jazz. You can't play jazz without a very good foundation. And that's the same. So, I don't know. I see also calligraphy evolving in in combination with other media. So, for example, like I said, with dancing, so with this lasers and the lights and everything. So you can do with new technologies. So if I'm moving my hand, something will appear on the screen and so on. So I wanted to develop this quite a lot, yeah. But I don't have time so much, but I think it will come. So yeah, so my kids are now already 17, 18, 17 and 20, so it's a little bit easier.
I mean, of course, the stuff we're speaking, I don't know how good it is, but of course, there is always gonna be some good calligraphers. And my question is, how do you approach pricing with calligraphy? Because I know once people get some level good that they can be making money out of it, it becomes the moment, okay, how do I price myself?
Yeah, it's very difficult. In Slovenia, I had luck that I had a partner. I didn't have luck with that partner, but that he put the price, the very big price. Not very big, but for me it was like, oh my God, how people will pay that? For example, for the classes, right? But people came, so and more they came. So it was like, wow, it was not imaginable for me. So I wanted to do the price, like to put the price. I remember 3 times less. So, for example, it depends on your confidence, but it's also possible that people then will say, oh, I will print it out, for example. So it depends on what you're doing. So if you're doing an artwork, or if you're doing the walls, and the quality, of course, so, but not the quality of letter forms, but the quality how you do it. So for example, if you're using cheap papers, that's not quality. You can do just one stroke and it's wow on a very good paper, but if you're using very bad paper, it's just a stroke. So, it's like, a professional artist playing on a school violin, school quality violin. It's the same thing. So once, if you're having a very good tools, very good surfaces, then the price, of course, it's much higher. And of course, of your self-confidence. But it's difficult because it's so many people doing it already. So, it's difficult to say, to become popular, and not popular to be known. Because, for example, I know one, I don't know his name anymore. He was doing the I invited him to the conference, but I have a little bit difficulties with memories because of Corona. I didn't have it, but I think it's a memory loss a little bit. And he was doing these videos, if you know him, videos making with parallel pen the logos of the companies, for example. You could another one, but no, I will not find it if I see it now. But
made by Edgar.
No, you know already these guys.
James Lewis. I don't know. I think I know pretty much all of them who do this kind of stuff.
Really? Okay, just now I won't find it. Or yes, just a moment. Yeah, it's difficult. Well, nevertheless, he's from Turkey, and he has, I don't know how many, really a lot of followers. But that doesn't mean that you can survive. He said that he can survive from that. So he is teaching really in the university, and he said, okay, I have so many people on Instagram, but so some people, I don't know how they monetize this, and I'm not really familiar with that, which is pity, because of course, all these tools help you now to be that you can earn more money. But I also don't know how to do that. So it's a lot of money that you have to invest first to get money back. So it's difficult to say really the price. So I don't know. So some people would say no, but for example, I'm teaching for, I don't know, Dennis Brown. I think he has already like 800 or 900 a day when he's teaching around. Or John Stevens. I heard that when he wanted, not went, but they invited to come to Mexico, and I think it was like 10,000 euros for going to Mexico. So so it's so different. It's a very big difference between prices. So yeah,
Well,
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. And how has social media impacted your calligraphy and your calligraphy journey?
Yeah, for me it's very very important because yeah, well, you can show your work, and I don't post a lot of personal stuff, so quite a lot. Yeah, most of the work comes from Facebook or Instagram, so they see you and then they invite you to teaching or something like that. But I was lucky because Andrea Wunderlich invited me to the conference, that conference that I met John, because she said that I was the only one from Slovenia that she knows. So not only Slovenia, but this part of Europe. So then I came as so many more well-known calligraphers were in Germany. So from there, I made one exhibition, and then from that exhibition, I um, I met one woman who told another woman, "Oh, invite her," and so on. So it's some luck, maybe the right place, the right time. So and then I started to teach all around the world. So well, from the conference, then they start to invite you. So it's not only social media that gives you uh, how do you say a kick, to go into the world, but it helps a lot. Yeah, it helps really a lot.
Okay, in this case, how do you think you have earned the respect of so many masters and older calligraphers? Because even when I had the podcast with John Stevens, he talked about you. He was like,
What?
yes.
Oh my god!
Because I asked him, if there are some younger names that he follows or that he thinks that they have potential and good skills, and you were one of the names that he mentioned.
No! Oh my god! I can't believe. Well, we never met, unfortunately. But yeah, I really respect his calligraphy. Unbelievable. But also I saw that he also used my brush that I recommended.
Okay.
But now I don't recommend it anymore. And then he also said, "Oh, this is very physical going with a big brush, right? Because you have to use all the body." And when I was also on the ladder, like 6 meters high, on one facade, and I was on the ladder, making calligraphy, and he said, "If that's not Photoshop, that's really great." I said, "No, it's not Photoshop." And I was doing that during the weekend, so you can't. They didn't. Somebody wouldn't call the inspection or so it was dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once I also heard Dennis Brown said like that it was the same reaction. We were like in the same car with Marina Soria. I love her art as well. She's really good. And she said, "Yeah, but Dennis Brown told me he would be like you." And I said, "What? Dennis Brown would be like me? What you're talking about, lady?" I said, "No, I'm not joking." She's from Argentina, so that's why the voice. And and I asked why and so on, and she said that because that was because of this conference, that when you were on a stage, you're not like pretending, that he's pretending to be spontaneous, energetic, and like everything, that I was natural. So when I was on stage, I was enjoying on being on stage. I was not afraid. I was like, in front of 500 people. What? So what? So I really enjoy, being on stage.
I see.
And so he said, "Well, I'm teaching that, and I try to be that, but she is like that." So this is what I was like, "Wow, that's great." So this is so nice, yeah, to hear.
That's
And I
awesome.
have also, yeah, one. well, not student, because really he developed really well, but he was in my classes and know this script, not script, but this technique from me. And Nicolas Bordes, he's also French, but I think he speaks also English, and he has really potential um, to to become a little bit more famous, I hope.
Yeah, that
Um,
that was my next question. Can you give me some names of people, maybe younger generation, or maybe such people that you love their skill but they don't have enough audience? So just drop some names that you think are important for people to check their work.
Yeah, I really it came to my mind only Nicolas Borges. I was searching for other people, but at this time I don't know. My one of my students was really good in cover plate, for example, but she's not on Facebook. So it's difficult, really. It's really difficult to yeah, because it's really that I am not really spending so much time on Facebook and on Instagram. Unless doing my work. So it's
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really searching a lot and watching a lot. So I also went a little bit more to the nature and doing planting trees and stuff and so on. So I don't really have time. So I'm only doing my work yet on Facebook. So yeah.
No,
I am a
that's
little bit back, yeah, on that. So Nicolas Borges is one of them. Mr. Camps also, he's from Spain, I think. Mr.
yeah.
Camps,
He's
yeah.
part of the crew.
Also, yeah.
To be honest, we had to record yesterday the podcast, because first we scheduled with you for yesterday, but then I saw I had already scheduled with him. But yesterday
Oh,
he said like, bro, I haven't slept for 2 days, so can we
oh,
reschedule? So I was like, of course, man. Like
okay.
life happens.
Good, good. Yeah. So I don't know. I would have to go through a little bit, but just yeah. Otherwise, of these calligraphers that I like is also, yeah, like I said, Marina Soria, but she's already well known, and Yukimi Anand, and yeah, Massimo, of course. But also, these are also the names already. So yeah, it's difficult.
Well,
Like,
they're known to you, you know. A lot of people that listen might hear those names for first time.
really? Oh, okay, okay. So yeah, Massimo Palello, Laurent Flugot, Flughaupt in Germany, in German language. So yeah, so these are, yeah, the names. I wrote somewhere these names, but I don't know where's
You know,
the
if you
original.
if you can text me later after we finish the names would be
Also,
cool. Because
yeah.
some of the names that you say I don't know, but I don't even know how to write them exactly to find
Mm-hmm.
them. So it would be really cool to put them in the video so
Yeah.
people can find.
And some also Dutch calligraphers, for example, Marie Emily Bolle, Liv Corneel, and so on. These are really just outstanding things they do. So yeah, but these are already very well known people.
O-
But yeah, I will write down all people that I remember that
okay.
they are really very good for me. So for what I like.
Is there a person or two that you can recommend me that would be awesome to come on the podcast and share their story?
Huh. Oh, I remembered one who is really, yeah, really young and very good calligrapher, really very good calligrapher, and he's Eric de la Rosa. Eric de la Rosa. You know already.
He's part of the crew as well.
I love his work, really. And
He's
he was, oh,
one of the letters is his.
okay. Yeah, he's really good. He was once in my class, but he is already a teacher and making tattoos now also and so on. And he really got my brush. One of few, this Nicolas Borges and Eric de la Rosa, these two really got the brush. Really, okay, this is it. So yeah, not many people. It's very difficult, really, what I do. It doesn't seems like so because it looks so easy, and it is easy. It's so easy for me, but for people, it's really difficult. Yeah.
I know what you
So
mean.
yeah, he's really good. What also inspired me so much was Mexico. Really, one of the best inspiration that I had in calligraphy was going to Mexico. So
Yeah.
before most of my artworks were these colors, and now I
Okay.
have all the colors possible. Really, so everything what you can imagine. It's not only black white. It's all the colors you imagine, and it was a shock, because people in the class, they were really just they used so bad color combination. I said, oh my god, how can you use red and blue together and so on. So but next year, that not next, maybe 2 years after that, when I came to teach, I came more prepared because of that, because I knew that they will use horrible colors, not horrible, but you have to put them in the right combination to make them work. So then it was really, really, really good, a really good also workshop. And also for me it was even more, because I really started to yeah, to make all this very, very strong colored works, because this is me. So when I was little, I was painting, and normal painting, right? Like aquarelle and acrylics and stuff like that. And I used so strong colors, and then with calligraphy, I lost them, because you say you can't really write with, I don't know, pink, I don't know. And now I could just really refine them. So yeah, it's not really good, my English, but
No,
yeah,
no, don't
it's
worry.
and also how they accept you. So they accepted me in Mexico like I was a star, like a rock star, really. So they made a venue in a paper shop, 24 hours opened. It was so cool, really. So it was like being really a celebrity. It was really cool, really.
Huh,
So
awesome.
I really hope to go there sometimes again, but it's difficult, because in America they want you to be vaccinated, so everyone, and I didn't, and so on. So it's you can't travel anymore. So yeah, it's difficult.
Really? Even now?
Yes, still. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, but for example, it's Mexico. It's not necessary to have the vaccination, blah blah, and also Canada. But you're flying over it, so I think it wouldn't be possible to go even over America without being.
Okay.
And I didn't, because I'm all the time inside. I don't. I meet a lot of people. In Corona, I started to use to teach online. I didn't have to to go to vaccine, and I'm against and so on. So
Yeah, me too. But I know this is a sensitive topic, so let's not.
Yes, better not to touch it.
Guys, you feel free to do whatever you want with your body.
Yes, no
That's it.
problem. Yeah, I know, I know.
So you teach a lot of classes. Obviously, you travel also. You mentioned that you've done stuff online. Are you still doing classes online or not so much?
Yes, yeah. Well, I started with in 2020. When I told you I didn't have a computer, because I gave it to my children, that because it was Corona, and then they needed it. And then my friend that gave me the computer, well, lent me the computer. And my mom said, because I was really, really depressed, it was really difficult of my life. But it was like more than 20 years like that. So now it's going better, like 2 years, two last years. It's a little bit better. And I had to have this conference in Slovenia. Do you remember? 150 people should attend, and nine teachers. I don't know. It was like a
Mm-hmm.
big event that I organized in Slovenia, and I got some money, like 10,000 euros. I got already, like for the enrollment, and I had to return a lot of money because I had to cancel the event. And my mom said, "Come on, Loredana, don't cry. You have to just start to work." Okay, but I have to work 10 years to return all of these. And I was building also a house, so it was missing also a few thousand euros to finish it, just to move in, so just few thousand. It was not a lot, but it's still a lot if you know that you can't
Yeah.
work. It's everything, it's canceled. So before this conference, I had to go to America one tour. So also that was canceled. So no work, completely. So I said, oh my God, what will I do? So I started to teach, and I said, I will never teach online. I said, it's not possible. Calligraphy is not possible to teach online. And then instead of camera, I used my phone, and I came with my phone and with my computer at the same time, and so I logged in, and then I tried, and it was okay. So I could then I didn't have a lot of people, so I'm not like John Stevens that he organizes the class and then it's like 200 people in 1 second and it's filled. So he's like rich now, him and Yves Leterme and someone else maybe. But I had like 5 to 10 people in each class, not a lot. But I could return all the money, and the same year I could move into my house in September. So from April to September was that. So it was so good. Thanks
Awesome.
God. So yeah,
But
I'm still teaching online, but I don't have a lot of people really. But it's
no,
okay.
but it's good because that's why I started asking about this. I was gonna ask if you're willing to do a collaboration to do a class, one of your classes with calligraphy masters. So
Yeah, sure, why not?
okay, awesome,
Always.
awesome.
But
Then
not yet, because I have now, and I am teaching now 3 weeks in Belgium. We go this Sunday on the road, and then I have some of my online classes, and yeah. But
yeah, yeah,
next year May I'm in Germany, and so on, and September is somewhere else. So I have to,
we'll figure
we
it
have to
out.
schedule, yeah.
Yes, yes, of course, of course. I just
Mm.
needed to know if you're up for something like this
Sure,
or
of
not.
course.
Awesome, awesome. Can you give a tip or advice or something that you can wish to the people which are listening, people that are just beginners or such people that just maybe consider starting calligraphy, if you can tell something
Okay,
to them?
so it's very important that you know what is a good calligraphy, what is not a good calligraphy. So don't start with bad calligraphy examples because you won't come anywhere. So when I was starting calligraphy, I had this script from our aunt, but I knew that it's not really a good example. So I printed out the fonts, calligraphic font, not calligraphic fonts, but the only Gothic that was in the Word, the program Word.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then I printed out big letters and I tried, I follow these letters because I knew that they were better. So you have to really to find a good examples, and a good, yeah. Well, when I wanted then to go on on my first class, I chose the best. So always try to choose the best what you like, but also try to, because it's so many information out there, and it's very difficult not to choose the best. So try to follow the best when you start, calligraphy. Of course, people that you like, and then regarding the basics, the best what it is, what you can do, what you can get. But the best, it's a little bit difficult if it's too difficult. For example, Christopher Hannes, you know him.
Yes, of
So
course.
him and John Stevens and maybe Yves Leterme and maybe Dennis Brown, these are a little bit maybe too much for the beginning. So if you're just really starting, it's very difficult to start with these people because it's a lot of pen manipulation, which is not for the beginners. So for the beginners, it's really just steady hand, not changing angles, not manipulating the pen. So these are then, of course, for more advanced. Yeah.
This is something that I've been thinking lately about because, yeah, you said manipulation is not for beginners, but why not? Like, I know it's not the easiest thing, but don't you think that if you learn beginners how to manipulate the pen in a long term, it will become much easier for them? Like, I don't know if I express myself correctly.
Yeah, but first, the beginners have to find, to see, to first know the brush well. So not the brush, the pen well. So when it's doing thin strokes, when thick strokes, that the thick strokes are approximately the same thickness, and so on. So this is very important. So if it's with the manipulation, you get a little bit thicker than thinner, and in many different positions of the letters, and this is hard to see when you're a beginner, especially if you're doing by yourself. So to the beginners, I would also say to go to the class. So for example, people who come to me, separate to my classes, like 12 hours classes, they spare their own time of like few months.
Mm-hmm.
If you learn by yourself, it's like it's like 6 months compared to 12 hours that somebody shows you. So it's such a really maybe 6 months or 1 year or 3 years. It depends how much work you put into this, into something, and how much knowledge you have from before. But if you're a complete beginner, I have some people like really from when they come, like after 12 hours they write like me. So wow,
Hmm.
I'm just like wow. Well,
Awesome.
like me with this pen, then when you give them a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger is already this, and a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. I don't know why people like very good masters, calligraphy masters, um, also, but I don't know now the names again, who are really writing also with the broom. Is it Cy Dawkins? I don't know.
Side Dawkins, Poker Swampus.
Yeah. For example, they lose the proportion. They don't have the proportion. So because when you're going very big, you can't see the letter, you know. And for example, some very good masters with small pens, when you give them a brush like this big, it's lost.
Huh.
Yeah, so they have very good. Also, Pocras Lampas became much better than when he started. But also with everything, with textures, the colors, very good. But I think he has a big background.
Graffiti.
Somebody, yeah, but background like also financially, I think, because otherwise I don't know how it's that possible to make such a big branding and everything. I don't know.
Well, it's teamwork and good marketing.
Yeah,
and
this.
and also
Wow.
he's a very hardworking like person.
Oh, okay.
It's
Great.
I don't think anything is handed to him. I've talked with him a
No.
few times,
Okay.
so I think it's just working with the right
Working.
people and being very dedicated. Because I mean, all of us work a lot, but I guarantee Poker's works like
The
crazy.
most. Yeah,
Yeah,
I really admired his work, and it's so yeah, so great. Wow.
he's one of my biggest
Uh,
inspirations ever.
really?
Yes.
Zepha, do you know Zepha?
Yeah,
Zepha?
yeah, yeah, he's also
Also,
in the crew.
I love his work. Oh my God. I just, oh, no, it's really crazy. But I also wanted him to invite to my conference, this one that I canceled, but he didn't reply enough soon. So then I invited someone else. But I really want to go to one workshop with him or something. I just admire this, unbelievable. Yeah, some of us people don't like so much being in front of computer and replying emails. I know, so
No,
that's
this is
it.
cool. And if you need any contact with Zephyr, just let me know. I'm speaking very like
Is he doing any workshops or?
I can ask him. Like he's done some workshops, but I can speak with him. And
Okay.
sure.
Wow, nice. I should invite to Slovenia maybe, or yeah, but I don't know. I don't have so much people here, so difficult. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, can you give me some names like of some masters or skilled people that I asked you a bit earlier, but you didn't say that that would be awesome to be on the podcast and share their journey.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Um,
recommend someone, one or two people. And
uh, Hmm. Yeah, Nicolas Borges. This one is not known, but he's very good. Eric De La Rosa, you know already. So Maria Emily Boli, maybe.
mhm.
And who else? Maria, I think you don't have it. Uh, and Marina Soria, she's very crazy Latino lady. She's from
Okay.
Colombia. Oh no, Argentina. Argentina. Yeah, very good.
Awesome.
She's very good.
I would really appreciate after the podcast if you can send me those names written because
Oh, Claudio Gil
Claudio,
from Rio de Janeiro. You
he's
know him?
also in the crew.
He's my very big brother. I love
Okay.
him so much.
Yeah, I've been thinking lately for him. Now that you say, okay, I'll make a podcast with him.
Yeah, he's so nice guy. Really nice guy.
Okay, so Loredana, is there something that I haven't asked you about your journey or your work, but you wanted to speak about?
I think that's pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was
Invite you to my website, calligraphy.si. And of course, I have also summer classes in a very beautiful little town. So something like that, this, and yeah. And yeah, of course, I'm now 1 year and a half with my long life, yeah. How do you say, co-worker, co-creator, and he's doing the books. And finally, yeah, I'm in the right place now, and we're creating a lot of stuff together again, and we will in the future also. Yeah, so he's also on my website. So yeah, that's it.
okay. I'll leave the links in the description, guys.
Thanks.
Loredana, it was a huge pleasure talking to you. It was super fun. We can always do another podcast again if there is something to speak about. But
Something new.
thank you for taking the time, and thank you for being guest on Calligraphy Masters podcast.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me, and to you guys, all of you, just go for it. Have passion for what you're doing, anything what you're doing, or cooking, or calligraphy, or anything else.
Awesome. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening, and as always, keep writing.